Okay, so now we're entering the Hydroponics app. So that beautiful logo again was by Gülsüm
Welcome.
Ferah.
This is hydroponics farming by FedEx
So
Solutions.
thank you to her.
The lead developer and
So
modeler of
this
this app
is
is Michael
the
Henry,
Hydroponics
intern at
app,
FedEx Solutions.
and within the app,
Lead
we
designer
begin
and
in the
additional
educational
development was done
center.
by Lance Powell. Please see the
We
video
have
below.
many pictures
Please
posted on the
practice
wall.
using your VR
These
controls.
pictures
You can
are
move in any
from
direction using the left
mostly
thumbstick
Creative
and use
Commons
the
or
right
Wiki
thumbstick to
Commons,
turn.
so
Use
they're
the
they're
arrow key on your
open
right controller
open
to teleport.
source. But
Once
thanks
this
anyway to
video
the
is completed,
photographers.
please go
I do
upstairs.
list a few
You may walk or
credits
teleport to the
for
top to
people
ascend the stairs.
from whom
Here,
I
you will
used
see the information
assets.
panel. Push the buttons on the panel to
We
learn
begin,
all
of
about
course, with
hydroponics.
the introduction
When you're
video.
done, please go
I
downstairs through the
purposefully
exit doors.
did
These doors lead to the
kind of an
Rosemary
older style
greenhouse, where you
black
will
and white
participate in the growing
photo,
process.
and
Use
this
the
will
buttons
give
underneath your controller
detailed
to interact
instructions
with
about
objects.
like how to
Finally,
proceed
you will
through
find
the
the door
app.
to the
So
main
once you come
greenhouse,
in,
where you can take an
you
audio
hear the
tour of
very
the facilities. The
specific
Hydroponics
music
farming app is a
playing.
production of
See,
FedEx
there's our
Solutions.
logo,
Please visit our
like
website
black and white
at
background.
fedex.io for contact
Like, and
information.
maybe you don't even hear
Thank you
it,
for
but
your
there's
visit.
this kind of like staticky sound in the background to give it that taste of authenticity. So yeah, and the video plays automatically. It loops. You don't need to do anything for it because many people doing this might be new to VR. So like, I don't want to burden them. I'll just jump into the video, which is called hydroponic farming here.
Welcome. This is Hydroponics Farming by FedEx Solutions.
Yeah.
The lead developer and modeler
Yeah.
of this app
There's
is
our
Michael
intern
Henry,
who worked
intern
on
at
this for
FedEx
some time.
Solutions. Lead designer
And that's
additional
me,
development
who
was
worked
done
on
by
it for
Lance
the same
Powell,
amount of time.
CTO of FedEx.
So,
Please practice
so yeah,
using your VR controls.
and here are some
You
instructions
can move
on.
in any direction using
Well,
the
no,
right
it's just
thumbstick
advice
and
to
use the
like
right thumbstick to
practice
turn.
before
Use the A
proceeding.
button on your right controller to
Yeah, just a
teleport.
little note. Within this room, we have both fluid motion and teleport, because this is the biggest space, but the other rooms don't include teleport, because it's simpler for keeping people in order. But yeah, we have a stereo playing music, but it's 3D sound, so if you walk away from it, it won't play anymore. Okay, so when we get up to the top, we have this panel with these 5 questions: what, when, where, why, and how. And when we push each of them, some audio cues.
Hydroponics is a method of farming that bypasses the use of soil by having crops grown in nutrient-rich water. There are a few. Hydroponics may have a modern-sounding name, but hydroponics is grown by large-scale farms and hobbyists alike. There are many reasons to grow hydroponic crops. There are several methods of hydroponic farming.
Yeah, that one doesn't have an image.
When you're ready, head downstairs
That's on purpose, by the
and
way.
take the door to the Rosemary greenhouse to learn about one specific method for growing rosemary.
Yeah, so since this is the educational center, this is where we do get that information about hydroponics, answering some key questions, and seeing an image associated with that. So, of course, when you're trying it, like for education, you're encouraged to listen to the whole thing, because if you just skip around, then you didn't really learn anything. But we finish with how, and on purpose there is no image, because the how question is answered through the experience in the next room. So we will move on to the next room now, and the hydroponics greenhouse. So with the door, do you make sure that you touch the handle with your hands? If you try to walk through it, you will go into nothing, but touch it with your hands. Like that.
Learn
There's
about
a
rosemary
click.
farming by pushing the buttons on the table. Please follow the buttons in order for the experience to work properly.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what the voice just admitted there is that I didn't go through a whole like error proofing process. We're just depending on good faith that people want the experience to work, and to make the
Learn
experience
about
work.
rosemary farming by pushing the buttons on the table. Please follow the
So
buttons in
we
order
follow
for
them
the
in order.
experience.
So first we
When
push the
considering crops
introduction.
grown on a farm, we might first think
So we
of
go through
large
an
fruits and
introductory
vegetables like
statements
melons
on
or carrots.
hydroponics.
Growing rosemary begins with the planting process.
Next we talk
You
about
can
planting.
begin by planting rosemary seeds, but germination rates might be 50% or less. The alternative is planting clippings of rosemary, and these will propagate the plant. Even though clippings have more successful growth rates, the taste is said to be lower quality than those planted as seeds.
Yeah.
The seeds will take about 2 or 3 weeks to germinate. At the work table, try placing the seeds in the planter now.
Okay, so I didn't wait. I've already done it. Like, as you saw, I put the seeds in and a little sprout grows, which represents a few weeks of growing, like for the rosemary plants in this planter. So yeah, we did introduction planting. Next, we would do watering, which I'll push in a moment. And then I'll go ahead and use that watering can over there to water the plants. And then I'll come push pruning, and then come prune the plants, and then do harvesting. They'll speak a bit, and then we'll leave. So yeah, I'm announcing that ahead of time, just because I'm not gonna wait around for the information. I'm gonna rush through it. Okay. Yeah.
Rosemary
watering.
should not be overwatered, as this can lead to rot on the plant. Like the herbs lavender and thyme, rosemary needs to have its roots kept dry for periods of time, and it should only be watered
this
at
little
regular
dribble,
intervals.
like when it's not on there, but there's
In
a
many
trigger.
facilities, the
make the
watering
water come.
process is automatic, but as a
Just
small
a demo, but
greenhouse, we will do this
It's
manually.
effective. Okay.
Please use the spray
pruning.
bottle at the next step for rosemary is to transplant them into another container. This
Right,
will
so
happen
we have
from
our
3 to 5 weeks
pruners.
after germination.
Beep, beep, beep.
For example, we transplant our rosemary into an NFT trough. Transplants of the crop are done slowly
Okay.
to avoid shock, and we make sure they are properly spaced.
Then
It's
harvesting.
time for our harvest. The process takes around 3 months from seed to harvest. We shouldn't take more
So,
than 30% of the plant at a
supposed to move
time,
these over.
so the rosemary can continue to grow and more crop can be harvested later. After harvest, the rosemary should be dried on a drying rack, and then it's ready for market.
There you go.
Please put the
Right,
clippings on the
and let's
drying
go.
rack next to the table.
Okay, so again, using the handle to get through the door. We're now in what looks a bit more like a normal greenhouse, with some lovely backing music from the Free Music
Welcome
Archive.
to our main hydroponics greenhouse, where
There
we
you go.
grow onion, strawberry, and tomato. Check the floor. You can see some of our finished crops for yourself. This brings us to the
Strawberries.
end of our tour, but there's still much more to learn about hydroponics
Onions.
and agriculture. If you represent a school,
And
or if you're a
tomatoes.
teacher or student interested in VI education
The
for
voice says
agriculture
tomato,
or other subjects,
so I will
please
say
contact us
tomato.
at vedx.io for more information about our company.
Mhm.
And thank you for visiting our
And FedEx.
hydroponics farm.
And BedX. Okay. Okay, yeah, and once you go through the next door, we're back in the education center, as you see. So that is the process. So we start here to learn the introductory information about hydroponics. Up there, in the next one, we learn about one specific crop, which is rosemary, and how to do it. And as we follow the steps, we're learning more. So that's the interactive portion. Then we finish in a main greenhouse, which has more of a look of a traditional greenhouse. Of course, it's much smaller, but it does have the kind of planting stations you would expect to find in a real hydroponics greenhouse, and yeah, and that's basically the whole experience. So yeah, that'll be up in a few places for download, and please share it.
Finally, you will find the door to the main greenhouse.